Pierre wants to impose life sentences for people trafficking fentanyl. And while you might think that's a great idea, let's talk about it first. He's basically saying this because the penalty should be the same as murder. And he's not wrong. Even a little bit of fentanyl can kill somebody. And I don't think it's wrong to be saying that the people who are putting out these drugs in the street that kill people are similar to murderers, because they kind of are. Here's the problem, though. This would legally cast a wide net and limit judges, and that won't fly with the Supreme Court. Like, a lot of Harper's laws like this were shot down because they were found to be unreasonable, including 3 laws creating mandatory minimums, and 25 other laws have been struck down by various courts in provinces and territories. Because the Supreme Court really does not like blanket decisions, because every case needs to be tried on an individual basis. Which is why Pierre and Harper's laws in this matter are very authoritarian, which just goes to show why Pierre is leaning into the Trump rhetoric about the border. Pierre seems to be so concerned about open borders in terms of drugs, but not about guns. And while I think that it would be a very common sense thing to say that Canada has been too soft on crime, and there is a conversation to be had there, this is not what we should be talking about when we talk about soft on crime. Because when you are overly punitive, you only create more crime. It does not work as intended. If it did, we could have policed and arrested ourselves out of this problem years ago. Yeah, lock them up and throw away the key. I'm sure that nobody else will fill that power vacuum. It's not like they have literally every single time with drugs and other crime, like for literally thousands of years. That's not to say that we shouldn't be arresting these people and that we shouldn't be putting them in prison. It's just that his approaches are not going to work. If they did, they would have worked by now. But Pierre also doesn't care about these people. He wants to defund programs that prescribe narcotics to people who are at greater risk of overdose. If he did that, people will die. Innocent people who are struggling will die. But Pierre does not care about them. He also says that he wants mandatory and involuntary drug treatment for minors and people who are in prison. Ah yes, Mr. Freedom wants mandatory treatment for people, including minors who we're supposed to keep away from and leave them alone, right? Because it's an issue when a minor goes to a doctor and says they want to be on hormone therapy, but it's not an issue when the government says they have to have mandatory treatment for something, right? Yeah, that makes sense.